Hey guys, good morning. It's Wednesday, just checking in. I have been very busy working on back end business stuff for the last couple weeks and doing deep dives into that. And so I just wanted to check in and say I am still here. And let's do daily inspiration. All right, let's see. Message of the day. All right. Hey, Sunny. Thanks for joining. Message of the day. It won't be easy, but it'll be worth it. Yes, absolutely. Hey, Georges. Um, Thanks for joining. Just going through the daily inspiration. I selected a message from my little success and inspiration jar. That was a gift given to me a while back, and it's got some really cool messages. So the message that I pulled out today was it won't be easy, but it'll be worth it. And so I think a few things of that, right? So things in life should not be overly difficult. It shouldn't be overly challenging. While there should be challenges and things that challenge you, it shouldn't be consistently difficult. It doesn't need to be consistently difficult. Now, there are things that may be difficult. There are certain health issues and things like that. Yes, but many other things in life, it doesn't have to be difficult. When things are challenging, when we have challenges that we're faced with, we have a choice. We get to choose whether we're going to make it more difficult. Hey, Annette, thanks for joining. Hey, Rashid. So we have a choice. We have a choice of what we're going to do with that. How do we want to show up? How do we want to show up? How do we want to perceive, and how do we want to experience our day? How do we want to experience what's going on in our life? How do we want to feel with ourselves in our relationships? What's coming up for you? What are some of the challenges that you have going on in your life? Things could be simple, but not easy, and worth it. And so there's so many different things around that we can talk about, and that could be applied towards so many different things in life. Relationships, communication, which is my focus as far as a relationship and life coach. That's what I do. Is I help people who are struggling with relationships. And so when you think about the difference between simple and easy and difficult, I look at it from a perspective of it is what you make it. And so while there will be times that are more challenging than others, it doesn't necessarily mean that everything in your life has to be extremely difficult. And that can be overwhelming, and that can cause stress and anxiety and detachment and depression and so many other things that spiral off of some challenge that you're having, something that you're going through as an individual, in your relationships, with your family, your relationship with yourself. What does that look like, right? So what is it that you want to be experiencing? And so while it might not be easy, it could be simple and worth it. And so just deciding what it is that you want, what you want to be experiencing, how you want to show up for yourself and the people in your life, you get to choose. What is it that you want? You can be at peace with knowing that you're going to do whatever it takes, or you're going to try whatever you feel you need to try to help yourself get over it or get through it. You can begin with an open mind, a fresh perspective, or you can shy away, look down, feel, hey Carissa, look down, feel like struggling, get depressed, allow yourself to fall into a funk. You have a choice for that as well. But that comes back to what is it that you want to be experiencing, right? Hey, Michelle. Thanks you guys for joining. So we're just talking about the daily inspiration. I pulled this message today out of my jar of messages. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. And that's taking the steps aligned with your goals to getting what it is that you want to be experiencing in life. What is it that you want to be experiencing in your relationship? How are you communicating? How would you like to be communicating? What's most important to you? And what's most important to your partner? Right? What are your priorities? What's your partner's priorities? Do you have a shared vision? What is it that you want for your relationship? Are your thoughts and your vision, are they aligned? Right? Those are just a few things that will help you to determine what it is that you want and how you want to be experiencing it together or separate, right? And you get to choose that too. You know, I help people decide whether they, you know, who struggle in their relationship, whether they want to stay or not. Do they want to give it another chance and try to fall back in love and get support with that? Or are they ready to just, you know, decide whether they're going to walk away? So it all depends. It all depends on what it is that you want to be experiencing. It doesn't need to be overly difficult. It doesn't need to be more challenging than life already is. Step back, give yourself a moment to breathe. Really think about what's most important to you now. Your priorities now are different than what they will be in maybe even in 2 weeks. Your priorities might shift in a moment, and that's okay. So living with agility, having an agile mindset, so you can adapt as life throws curveballs at you, or things come up with your health, or in family dynamics, or in your relationships with your partner or others, right? It all starts with you, though. What is your relationship with yourself? What do you want to be experiencing in life? What does that look like for you? Just some things to think about, right? And you might not know right away. Sometimes, you know, taking a step back and taking a breath and saying, okay, I just need a moment to be, so I can process what's happening. Maybe have some conversations with your coach, if you have a coach, right? Or a good friend or a family member, someone who can be supportive, right? And guide you to being the best version of yourself, so you can figure out what it is that you want in your life. Hey, Angela. Hey, Peggy. Thanks for joining. Just talking about the daily inspiration, the message I picked out today. It won't be easy, but it'll be worth it. And we're talking about challenges in life and relationships with yourself, relationships with your partner, relationships with your kids, your siblings, relationships with them, family dynamics, relationships with your parents and colleagues, and all of that, right? So it's how you show up. It's what is it that you want to be experiencing in your life? What's most important to you? And how are the people that you surround yourself with, how are they showing up for themselves, and how are they showing up for you, right? Because relationships are a two-way street. It's not one person showing up for the other and the other person just detaching. It doesn't work that way. Hey, Angela, yeah. Right? It's been about 20 minutes. Hey, Joey, thanks for joining. So that's really the message for the day. It's things can be made simple. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it doesn't also have to be overly challenging, right? It is what you make it. It's how you show up for yourself. What mindset are you showing up with today? Are you in a negative place? Are you feeling down on yourself? Are you struggling? And you're allowing that to get the best of you? Because when you allow that to get the best of you, it affects everything that you do. It affects all of your relationships. It's not just one way. It's not just one thing. When you're in it and you're not feeling good, that shows in your energy, and it comes out in your conversations. It shows up in your tone. That's why it's so important and such a priority. It should be a priority to take care of yourself. right? What is it that you need? What is your body and your mind needing to be nourished? Like, what needs to be nourished there, right? Maybe it's overwhelm, maybe it's stress, maybe it's constant conflict in relationships, maybe it's not knowing how to communicate, maybe it's thinking you're doing everything right, but the person that you're partnering up with is not receiving it. They're not hearing you. They're putting up a wall, right? So what is the message that you want to get across? But first understand what it is that's the most important thing for you. What are your top 5 priorities? And look around your life. Who's surrounded? Who do you have that surrounds you? Do they support you and lift you up, or do they give you grief? Or do they challenge you in an unhealthy and unproductive way? There's a difference. Relationships can be tricky, but they don't have to be. It's just understanding and learning and going deeper into yourself first, right? Because mastery starts with you. And then being open to sharing what you're going through. Vulnerability, it's courage, it's not a weakness, right? Being vulnerable and sharing, yeah, you know what? I'm going through a dark moment, or I don't understand what's happening in our relationship, or I'm not sure what this meant, but what it made me feel like, right? Explaining to your partner and the people in your life the impact their behavior has on you, and encouraging them to share with you. So that means you being open to receiving what they've got to say, right? You can be heard. If you're communicating effectively, people will listen, right? The people that the message is right for will listen. But it's never an attacking, you did this, you did that, how could you, why did you, hey Phil. It's never that. It's not the finger pointing, right? It's show up with curiosity. What's going on? What's coming up for you? You know, what are the actions and behaviors of other people in your life? How are they affecting you? How is it impacting you? And then sharing that message, right? Your behavior, you know, when you did this, the impact that it had on me was, you know, I felt unappreciative, I felt unloved, or I felt unsafe. Hi, Brenda. Right? We're talking about relationships and communication, and it really started off with the message of the day, and that came, it won't be easy, but it'll be worth it. Right? And it's talking about, you know, things can be simple and challenging. But what type of challenges are they? Are they healthy challenges? Are they unproductive challenges? Are they challenges that are going to set you back? Or are they challenges that are going to help provide some clarity and purpose and meaning, right? What if you showed up every day in everything you did with curiosity and purpose, intention, right? Everything you're doing is intentional, even if it's doing nothing that day, right? Or taking a moment, or stepping back, whatever that means, right? Everything, there's an intention behind it. Everything has a positive intention. So even if you're shutting down, that could be your body and your mind trying to help you cope, which means you need support. You might need extra support. There's nothing wrong with that. Who couldn't use, extra support? Life is challenging. It doesn't have to be, though. Dynamics of people, that's challenging, right? You have different personalities. You have different expectations. You have different personalities with different expectations, with different priorities. And if you're not sharing, and if you have all these people in your life and there's no shared vision for what you want your relationship to look like, whether it's a partner, or family dynamic, friends, whatever it is, if you don't have that shared vision, something's missing. You're not communicating. Your message is not being heard. Hey, Odd. Thanks, you guys, for joining. We're talking about relationships and difficulties and challenges, and things can be simple and challenging. It's how you show up for yourself every day. What is it that you want to be experiencing? What is the message that you want the people in your life to hear? what's most important to you, and understanding what's most important to the people in your life. It's not just about you. There are other people involved. Relationships are a two-way street, right? So write in the comments, let me know, what are some of the challenges that you've had, without calling people out. We're not pointing fingers, right? But what are some of the challenges that you had or you have with relationships, something that you've struggled with, right? What are some of the things that you've experienced, right? The only way to move forward is to talk about it and get new perspective and other perspective, right? Because we are who we are. Our identity is based on all of the beliefs that we've learned through our experiences in life, and every single one of us has a different experience. We could have showed up at the same time for the same moment and had a completely different experience. You guys who are online watching me live, hey Lisa, you guys online who are watching me live might all be taking away something different, right? I'm saying the same thing to all of you, but what you're receiving might be different, right? Because of where you are, your perception, your mindset. And so the point of sharing and being vulnerable, which is courage, right? It's showing courage. It's not a weakness. But being vulnerable by sharing some of the challenges that you have. And I'm going to be creating a group, a social media group, a virtual group on Facebook, a locked private group to talk about relationships and challenges. It'll be a small group. It'll be, people who want to come in will, show an interest, and then it will be a small group. We'll limit it to maybe 6 to 8 people. We'll start small. And we'll talk about some of the challenges and what works and what doesn't work. Hey, Michelle, we're talking about challenges in relationships and dynamics and communications and, going through life and relationships by communicating with ease and clarity, by finding out what it is that you want and what you want to be experiencing, and then talking to your partner or your kids or your siblings or your parents about what it is that you want for yourself and what your vision is for your relationship with that person or people, right? If it's a family, it's a group. And showing up with curiosity and finding out, what do they want? What are their expectations? What are their priorities? Again, because it's not just about you. There are other people involved, and what works for you or what works for me is very different than what might work for someone else, right? Because our mindsets and our perceptions of what is real is different for all of us. But guess what? It's our reality. So even though every single one of you online has a different perception of reality, what's real for you, it is still your reality. It's not mine, right? Not somebody else's, it's yours. So what is it that you really want to be experiencing? What is it that you want for your life and the people in your life and your relationships? What's most important to you? What's a priority for you? Is it being right? Is it being heard? Even if you don't agree, but you can respectfully agree to disagree, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. What is it that you want to be experiencing? How do you want your relationships to look and feel? What kind of foundation are they built on? Are they built on trust and respect and care and concern? Or are they built on you getting your needs fulfilled? Because those are very different relationships. Happiness, yeah, happiness. Happiness would be great. You can have that. And you can have happiness. And you can have peace. And you can have that spark again in your relationships if it's an intimate relationship. You can revive friendships that may feel difficult or challenging, right? You can revive that. You don't have to stay the same. That's the best part about being able to have a relationship with anyone. Yeah, thank you. Um, that's the best part is you get to choose. And it all comes from what's your intention? What do you want? What do you want to be experiencing? What do you want to be experiencing for yourself in your relationships? How are you communicating? What's your intention for communicating? Are you talking at the person or is it a conversation? Are you sharing and are they open to hearing it, right? Because if you want to share something that's going on for you and somebody's not listening for whatever reason, don't waste your breath. You can say, hey, listen, I've got something that's been bothering me. I really want to talk about it. And see what happens. Are you open to talking about it? No, now's not a good time. Okay, when's a good time? Well, I'm free Thursday. Okay, Thursday at 3. Put it on the calendar. Right? So you don't want to have a conversation with someone who's blocked off and not listening. Because you don't know what's going through their mind at that moment, what they're experiencing. Right? You're only seeing what they're willing to show you. So when you ask someone, when you tell them that you have something that you want to talk to them about and it's important, are they open to having a conversation? Or when's a good time? And if they say no, I never want to talk about it because talking is uncomfortable, and maybe they won't say that, but they might just say, no, we don't need to talk about it. Well, it depends on the outcome you want, right? It depends on the outcome you want. So if you don't talk about it, what's at risk? Your relationship, trust, respect, love, all that's going to go out the window if there's no real sharing. You can only hold on to that for so long if somebody's not being open and honest with you. I'm not talking your deepest, darkest wounds. Maybe, that's up to you to share what you're comfortable sharing with the person. You can certainly share, right? And being vulnerable includes your deepest, darkest wounds. And I know I've shared them myself out on social media, and that's okay because being vulnerable is courage. And there are other people who have messaged me after I've shared a message of some of the deep and dark things that I've experienced in my life, who have reached out to me personally and said, oh my God, thank you for sharing that. I can't believe we have so much in common. Or I can't believe that you've experienced that. Yeah. You guys would never know it if I didn't share some of the struggles that I've gone through. I don't choose to stay there though. Like I have a challenge and I figure it out, I move forward. I'm not stuck in the moment, the headspace of woe is me. I step back, I give myself the space to figure it out, or just some space to think through what it is that I want. And then I take an action, an aligned action. So it's setting goals, setting priorities, and taking actions, right? The people in your life should also have priorities, and you should understand what they are. Right? So my priority it's my well-being. I need to know that I'm taking care of myself physically, emotionally, and that reflects out into my relationships. My relationships with people, and not that I don't have challenging moments, but my relationships with people, I build very good relationships with people. They're different levels of depth, but when I have someone in my life that I let in my life, it's a deep and meaningful relationship. It's not a surface value, hey, how's the weather? Those are fine too, but just knowing what it is what you're going to get, right? Being clear on what you want, how you're showing up, lead by example, and communicating. So that's the message. It was supposed to be a 3-minute live video. It turned into 24, but I thank you guys. I really thank you guys for listening in. The replay is available on it will be available on my personal page. I'm sharing it to the Mindshift Facebook group. If you guys are on my Mindshift Facebook page, rather, please go and like that page and follow. And If you know somebody who could use to hear this message, please share it or tag them, or have them reach out to me. I'd be happy to have a conversation with them about what they want to be experiencing and how to get there. And we can go from there. So I hope you guys have a great day. It's absolutely beautiful here this week. I'm so excited. Summer is finally here. And that's it. Just be intentional. The message is be intentional. What it is that you want. You know, you can have challenges, but it doesn't have to be extremely difficult. It all comes back to how you show up for yourself every day and what you're giving into the relationships around you. Thank you, Michelle. I'm so glad. It really matters, right? It's a two-way street. So have a great day. Thank you guys so much. Please share this message if you know someone who could use some extra support or just needs to hear the message. And have a great day. I love you guys.